Now, if you could make up 10 rules for life, what would they be? Rules to make the world a better place? To get people living the best versions of themselves? Take a moment just to think. Okay, you've had a brief think. You've probably identified some very lovely, noble ideas for creating 10 rules to make the world a better place by the way people live. Perhaps loosely themed around the 10 Commandments. Now, how about these for some rules to live by? 1. You're not to think you are anything special. 2. You're not to think that you are as good as we are. 3. You're not to think you are smarter than we are. 4. You're not to imagine yourself better than we are. 5. You're not to think you know more than we do. 6. You're not to think you are more important than we are. 7. You're not to think you are good at anything. 8. You're not to laugh at us. 9. You're not to think anyone cares about you. And 10. You're not to think you can teach us anything. Wow, not what you'd expect, eh? Now, these are the articulation of a massive cultural influence in Scandinavia, which has become known as the Law of Jante, Jante. It undergirds just about every social interaction, great and small, in Scandinavia. These rules were articulated by an author, Axel Sandemose, in his satire called A Fugitive Crosses His Tracks. He possibly had an axe to grind too, which didn't really help matters. Now, Jante is a fictional Danish town based on a real town that Sandemose lived in, and these 10 laws are the articulation of the experienced social code. 10 years ago, I had a couple trips to Norway to make a documentary about a niche documentary format known as Norwegian Slow TV. It was as I began filming and interviewing people that I started bumping into and later recognising this Jante law. During COVID lockdowns, I interviewed people over video link, some friends and contact about this law of Jante for a project that's yet to find its wings. I've got the interviews recorded. I've steadily worked my way through them and done my note taking from them. I hope that I can give them the ability and opportunity to fly here. Not only is this Jante law, this 10 rules, a fascinating insight into the nations of the world which often rank highest in happiness and well-being, the Scandinavian nations. It also has parallels in other countries and relevance to anyone who does well in a given area and wants to make themselves look or feel better. So that's the second feature I'd like to bring here for its first airing here on Radio Warrington when I get a chance to completely craft a show from my own interests and passions. If you're a Scandinavian expat, or have Scandinavian heritage and you're living in the area, in the Warrington, Liverpool, Greater Manchester areas, or even Cheshire, and would like to participate, please do get in touch with me, Tim Prevett, Prevett. I do have a dedicated Instagram account for radio content, Tim P on the radio, and I'm easily findable on other social media. So those are 10 rules, the rules of Jante, I would like to bring to you to listen to and ponder. It's a fascinating thing with parallels and applications, not just to Scandinavia. Right, keeping it in Scandinavia, we have Avicii featuring Hello Black. Wake me up when it's all over.